Hi there, it's real estate coach Josh Fegan and welcome to this week's coaching tip. Today we want to talk about getting back to basics. You see, on the inside of your business, the most important thing for you to do is to take control of your diary. How you manage your diary is how you manage your life. So here are some things that you want to consider. For me, it's about making sure that you run to routine. And the important component to that is what time do you actually wake each and every morning. Once you've got your wake time, what time you're having breakfast, and what time you're turning up to the office. What time is that first phone call going to be made, and what time are you going to be having lunch? What are the times you're going to be trying to book your appointments, and what time are you getting home for dinner? See, these are all really critical hardline appointments, and when you put in those hardline appointments, it makes it so much easier to then go and book all of the other appointments around it. Now, we know that one of the simplest things is to consider that in the AM we're prospecting, in the PM we're doing appointments. But it's really important that you start to take control. Now, here's an example. When you're booking an appointment with a client, if you ask them what time would be good for you, they now have control of your diary. What you want to be doing is you want to be nominating 2 times. So we could do something tomorrow afternoon, would either 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock be better? Now, if you don't want to specify the specific time, then what you can do is say, would something in the early afternoon or the late afternoon be better? So then you're actually starting to lock it down into some time zones, so you're starting to get control. Now, from an amateur's perspective, they'll take business on whenever it happens. From a professional's perspective, they will actually start to take control of that diary. Not to make it hard for the consumer, but to make sure that they've got the very best energy to be in that meeting to actually win the business or to get the result. Now, it's really important that you start to think about how you actually get better momentum through the activities that you're already doing. A classic example would be doing more private appointments. Now, when you do a private appointment, you ideally want at least 2 people at that private appointment. Maybe one person at 2 o'clock and another one turning up at 2:15. Now, if both of those buyers get to see each other, then they now feel that level of competition. We call that compression selling, and it's critical as a market starts to change. What happens with a lot of agents is that they do these midweek open for inspections in city environments and they're getting no one turning up, when what they should be doing is inviting people down to come to a private appointment that happens to be at that open for inspection time. So Josh, I could see you there tomorrow at 2 o'clock, would that be okay? Now, the reason why that's critically important is that if you invite someone down to an open for inspection, then they're in a position that there's no commitment about having to turn up. If they know that they're coming to a private appointment, then that changes the level of commitment because people know that it's important given that they're actually going to be taking time out of your diary. Now, some of these basics, like setting a lunchtime, might sound crazy, but what I know is that if you don't have the right energy, then you're not going to be good in the appointment time. We've all worked really hard, seen an appointment that's been set at the wrong time, and before you know it, trying to find something to eat at around 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon. And that is just not going to be consistent with what it's going to take for you to run a great career. So it's vital that you start to get back to the basics of taking control of that diary. And for me, that's about setting those hardline appointments at least a year in advance. So for the rest of my life in my diary, my lunchtime is set at 12 o'clock. And that way I know exactly how to work to that routine and people now know how to work with me. Now, it's also important for you to start to think about what that start time is going to be and what the finish time is going to be so that you can communicate clearly with all of the loved ones and people in your life so they know exactly when to be able to communicate with you and when to expect you to be home. Now, if you do that and you say every night I'm going to be home at 6 o'clock for dinner, even if you need to go out for a late night appointment, at least it allows consistency in what's going on inside of the diary. And that is what leads to success. So get back to basics and take back control, and it will set you free.